Hey guys, welcome back to Spooky Tuesday, a weekly podcast where we're breaking down all of our favorite slashers, thrillers, monster movies, and black comedies on the new scariest day of the week. I'm Cindy Thompson.
I'm Monica Haidt.
And I'm Chelsea Duff.
And this week,
it's a special week.
It's such a special week. It's not a fifth Friday, which I always say. It is a fifth Tuesday, which would make more sense, actually. But not only is it a fifth Tuesday, it's a holiday. Fifth Tuesday. We're really bringing it on with the holiday specials.
Holiday specials,
Double
girl.
holiday special.
Back to back to back to back. And what
holiday is it today?
It is New Year's.
Happy New Year's Eve.
Happy New Year's
Happy
Eve.
New Year's Eve. If old acquaintance be. I don't know the words to that song. I do not know the words to it, actually. So I was
but
like,
old friends.
As much as I can do. But that's a hint.
Yeah.
For the movie.
And if that isn't a hint, do you think we'll get censored if I...
Oh, no, go for it. I think go for it.
That was bad.
Give it your best.
No, now I'm nervous.
Now she's shy. Have you ever seen Sydney be shy before?
I'm really shy, actually, guys, in case you didn't know.
I've always said that about her. Yeah.
Yeah. Known fact,
in the newest episode of Spooky Tuesday, fake orgasms in the first 2 minutes. You heard it here first.
Right?
Whoa.
I said it was fake.
That was real. I believed it.
Really I believed it. Yeah, it was super believable. I really was like, whoa.
Oh my God, something just happened to her in this moment.
Oh my God.
She's so excited about the movie that we're doing this week.
Yes. And that is When Harry Met Sally.
Yay!
The ... is actually incredibly important.
It's really
so
crucial,
I'm glad that you said it
actually.
out loud. Yeah, thank you for saying that out loud.
Yeah.
It's important.
It is.
Well, because it's like, that's just the beginning of the story, girl.
Right?
There's so much story to come after that, girl.
Okay, if you haven't had a mother who made you watch this movie at some point in your life, according to IMDb, Harry and Sally have known each other for years and are very good friends, but they fear sex would ruin the friendship. And that, is kind of true, but explains really nothing.
Kind of
it's
true.
a little too simple for me.
Yeah.
Honestly, the way this movie, not that I know too much about the marketing campaign, but the way this movie was marketed is really interesting because it's like the main poster for the movie. It's like, can two friends sleep together and still love each other in the morning? And it's like, girl, you're really jumping ahead.
That's like the end of the movie. That's like the third.
That's like the last third. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like all the good stuff is the tension.
I am all about the tension.
Their banter is incredible.
Do you know who their banter is allegedly based on per IMDb trivia?
Who?
Billy Crystal himself and director Rob Reiner. We're going.
Well, their relationship is based off of Rob Reiner and Nora Ephron's friendship because Rob Reiner was going through like a horrible divorce, like leading up to this. So like Billy Crystal was like, where do I get inspiration for this character and his strife? Oh, here he is, Rob Reiner.
Oh, right
here. Right here, my actual very good friend, Rob Reiner. And apparently Carrie Fisher was like besties with Rob Reiner's ex-wife, the woman that he was divorcing during this time. Yeah, let me look up who
Helen
it was. Yeah,
his
Helen. So fucking funny. So much drama.
A lot of Nora got put into Sally as well with like all the picky eating stuff. Apparently that was straight from Nora Ephron. So
I want to live in a Nora Ephron anything property.
Sure. Yeah, reasonable. Very cozy.
Yeah.
Movie. Oh my God. I felt so good. This was the best way to end my night last night watching this. And then I also almost got to watch all of it today too, again. It's just a delight, man. I love a good rom-com. It just makes me
They
wanna
really
cry.
don't make rom-coms like they used to.
No,
They
they don't.
can't make
They
them
don't.
earnest enough. They're too okay, I'm gonna sound so fucking annoying right now. I'm gonna sound like Gen Z. They're like super raunchy a lot of the times these days, which I like that humor, but it doesn't have that like je ne sais quoi that these ones
That
do. I don't
sweet
know. It's like all the
innocence.
jokes are like dick jokes. I'm thinking about
They're
anyone
giving
but
a lot
you.
more.
I'm thinking
I know
about
you
anyone
were.
but
I
you.
knew you were.
Yeah,
They're giving a
that's
lot
what I'm
more
thinking of.
calm than they're giving rom.
Yeah.
Exactly.
They're
A
really
lot
forgetting
of
about the
like,
rom part of the rom-com.
And the
yes,
rom comes first.
The
the
tenderness
rom,
is important.
the
The
tenderness
banter
is
is
so
so.
important.
Here's the thing.
It's
Oh,
you
you
go.
go first and
No,
I'll go.
no, you go, girl. I love
Okay.
you.
I
Mwah.
was gonna say, I think it might be one of the reasons why I'm so obsessed with like the Hallmark Christmas movies
Yeah.
Yes,
is
Oh,
because
it's
same.
smart.
like they are this like the only
There's
thing.
literally no other plot.
There's no other plot. It's all romance.
Except for maybe
It's
a Christmas
all
competition of some kind,
yeah.
or an orphanage
Christmas
is
is sprinkled
closing,
in
or
there.
yeah.
There's a royal somewhere. You know, we love
Oh,
those.
I love
Lindsay
all those
Lohan's
ones.
in them, but they're just like so innocent and cozy and like it's Hallmark, so there's not that many sexual dick jokes. Like they might slide in like one that's really subtle, but like nothing is overt. Everything is like again, it's something you can easily watch with your mom, right?
And that's the thing. I used to do like wine movie marathons to the Hallmark Christmas movies
Yes.
with my mom. So those like really hit for me. And
Me
every
and my
Christmas,
grandpa.
I will just get drunk by myself and watch a marathon of those
Yes.
in honor of my mom. It's so important and so it's as sad as it sounds, by the way.
It's
But
like-
it's incredible. That's why I'm getting Netflix back because they have so many
watch.
of that shit
Yes.
Gonna
slated to
dump 'em
come
all
out
out.
this month.
Ugh.
I'm so stoked. Well, it already came out for you guys. I hope you've been enjoying it. We recorded
I
this
know they're
in
ready to move on
November.
to the next season.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah,
by the
we
time you're hearing
recorded
this
this in
episode.
November.
But like I watch like I put on all of those like Christmas movies when I'm like decorating my house.
Yeah.
Like decorating my Christmas tree. You have like the movies in the background. Apparently, I haven't watched it yet, but there's because I'm waiting to decorate my tree. At this point, when this comes out, my tree will already be decorated, and I will have watched
I
this.
literally
You'll be,
can
you're,
see
you're
your
gonna be taking
tree.
it down. Yeah.
Yeah,
I can see your tree right now.
Beautiful.
It looks
but I
honestly
haven't
really, it looks
decorated.
really nice.
That's what I'm doing this weekend.
The lights look beautiful.
But a snowman turns into a real
Oh, Hot
man.
Frosty.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
That's
to
on my
watch
watch
it.
list as well. My friend and I are gonna watch that.
Is that on
Yes.
Netflix?
No, I think it is a Hallmark
Who-
original.
I think it's Hulu.
Oh
It-
no, that sounds right. That sounds right.
Yeah, I think it might be
All
on
right.
It has
All
Lacey
right, all right.
Chabert, who
I'm
is
ready.
a Hallmark Christmas queen.
Hulu. Yes. Like
I'm fully ready.
But like they just don't. I don't know. They just
Everyone
don't do it for
says
me.
about the movies these days, everyone is beautiful and nobody is horny. Have you guys heard
Yes.
that phrase? Where
Yes.
it's like
Mhm.
people in Hollywood have to be like more gorgeous than ever, which also means a lot of the time you're not getting people with like really personality faces, which is so sad because the studio is like pushing everyone to look this one specific kind of beautiful, and like all the men are like fucking jacked, swole, ripped. Like even this is sorry, I'm starting my agenda. Even Jake
Begin.
Simmons in Red One who's playing
No.
Swole Santa. Sorry,
I'm
that's
gonna-
just
What
that's
if I
it,
just
and then I'll
left
move
the
on.
chat? What if I just left? I thought about it, and then I was like, no, we'll fuck up the whole
Monica,
recording.
you don't
has to
pull
be
a Taylor
swole,
right
that's all
now.
I'm saying. But it's like, what if people just were allowed to have chemistry with each other and it wasn't about finding the person with the lowest percent body fat to muscle ratio or whatever? Like, what if we could just find two people who really vibed and let them look at each other with such naked affection in their gazes, which is what this movie is all about. It's like, it's not
Yes.
about like sexual chemistry even necessarily. It's about like being so endeared with someone. Like you just like romantic love, yes, but also like you just love this person for being who they are and existing in your world, and you just adore them. And that is a quality that I think just so rarely exists in romantic properties that are like big budget whatevers these
No,
days.
totally. I think something that this reminded me of, I just watched Paul Mescal's Hot Ones because we recorded this the week that Gladiator 2 came out. And he
Are you gonna
was
do Lick
talking
It, girl? You already
about
did half.
oh yeah, I already did have, I don't know, maybe I want to see it, but I haven't seen Gladiator 1. I fell
You're gonna
asleep
see
during
in
it. Big
40
fight
minutes.
with Adam and I. Big fight that I fell asleep during Gladiator. And we
I
were
wanna go
watching
see
it on a
Gladiator 2 this
tiny,
weekend.
shitty screen. And he's like, we shouldn't be watching it on this screen. And then I fell asleep and he was like, ah. Anyway, boys really care about Gladiator. That's what I found out. But anyway,
And
we're
girls
talking
really
about
care about
Paul
Gladiator
Mescal.
too.
We're talking about Paul Mescal now. And he was talking about the casting process for normal people, which isn't a rom-com, but I think it does have really compelling romance in it and incredible chemistry between the two leads. And I think that both Paul Mescal and Daisy Edgar
Jones.
Okay. I get lost in her three names. Daisy
Sure.
Edgar Jones are both like super hot, conventionally attractive, but they're also not like the like chiseled Adonis type of people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so like
They look like
for
normal
that,
hot people.
they look like
Yes.
normal
They're
hot
so
people.
beautiful on the street. They would be so beautiful, but you wouldn't be surprised to see them on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like what he said was that he got cast first and then he did chemistry reads with all these people that they selected and none of them worked. And he was like, fuck, like they're going to just uncast me. But what they ended up doing is in the second round, they brought Daisy in and it was just like unanimous. Like they just had that chemistry and that was over everything else. And it was just perfect. And the way he said it made me think that they're in love like everybody else thinks.
Yeah. I
Anyway,
fully
just saying the look in his
That's
eyes.
my conspiracy theory.
Ooh.
I think they
fully
do
believe
love
Talk about
each
the
other.
look. Yeah.
I think they love each other, but are they
They
in
love each
love?
other.
You know.
Yeah. It's a When Harry Met Sally situation. We'll
exactly
see.
like
We gotta
when
wait
Harry
12
met
years.
Sally.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We gotta wait
sometimes
12
it's
years.
timing.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of the time studios these days they want a name to attach to the project and they're not willing to take a risk on unknown people to find that like spark between two actors.
Yeah.
And it
And that's
is
so
just
important.
a shame.
Yeah.
Here's the thing
Well-
though, you cannot tell me that Billy Crystal in this movie does not make you so horny.
He's a
Oh my
sex
God, he's
pot.
so hot.
He is.
No.
He made
He
a
is
woman
He's such a sex
meow.
bot.
But
He made a
is,
woman meow.
like oozing.
I'd meow for Billy Crystal. Oh my God.
He is just oozing sexuality in this.
His
And
little like fucking smile, his little like smirky ass smile. I'm like, you put that away, sir.
sir, this is
Ooh.
lethal.
He's on a charm offensive.
But
Yeah.
also too, nothing is sexier than him in that fisherman sweater.
And those little
They don't make
jeans.
sweaters like
And
that
the
anymore either.
sneakers. You can get them from LLB and they're just very expensive.
Okay. So you do have to
can
be a
find 'em
movie
at the
star.
thrift.
Yeah.
You can find him. You can find him at the thrift. Don't worry. Maybe not wool, but you can find him at the thrift. If it's wool, there'll be moth holes in it if you get it at the thrift.
Yeah.
But it's possible. But yeah, I mean, Billy Crystal is so fun in this, and it's so funny to see him like them de-aging him. Also, like I died at the beginning of this movie with his hair and his mutton chops, sideburns things, his like 70s chops he had going on. And he's like this hot boy, clear skin, wearing an inch of foundation. Like I was dying. I was dying over that. And I was also dying about Meg Ryan as Sally. The hair continuity in the first segment of this movie was like a special extra character for me. I know it doesn't matter. It's not about that, but because she had that crazy bouffant thing going on with the curls, they just like relaxed and got curled again, and relaxed and got curled again, and relaxed and got curled like 40 times over the course of that diner scene, and I was dying. It was so funny. But they just from the get-go, this movie just gets you. But also like he's such a fucking bitch at the beginning. very hot, but like not very likable, you know?
He needed 12 years to grow and mature into being a nice human man instead of being a ridiculous 20-year-old boy.
I just have dated that type. So
Yeah.
it was also like, ugh, the like, I'm so deep. Actually, I'm so deep, and you're having fun when you could be very upset. You could just be upset right now and be thinking about like philosophy, but instead you're eating your salad. Like, okay, Billy Crystal, I'm so glad that you think about dying every day. That's like so cool, actually.
This movie kind of, I hadn't seen this in a couple years, and this movie kind of triggered the shit out of me because one, I completely forgot it.
Why, girl?
I completely forgot it started in Chicago.
Sure.
Mhm.
And then let's go back a couple years where I had a friend from high school who from Chicago who we were like very close, like never had like anything. I was like, this is my friend, like blah blah blah.
Oh
Like,
no.
and then all of a sudden
I
he
know who
comes
you're
and he goes,
talking about.
Yeah.
I've been in love with you since blah blah blah. And I was like, oh. So and then I watched this, I'm like, well, maybe Billy Crystal is in fact right. God damn it.
I know. I was like, what if the takeaway from this movie is that you really can't be friends?
I know,
I don't
like
think
that's
that
kind
is.
of what the
I,
argument
I
is.
I think these two characters were just always meant to be together
Together.
and in love, but you have to have so many life experiences sometimes to be ready for the person you're supposed to be with and to be
Yeah.
compatible with that person so that you can grow together. Um, but yeah, it is kind of like at the end of the movie, especially when at the end of the movie they're doing the speech from the car and they have that like dialogue playing over where it's like men and women cannot be friends. The sex is always there in between them, even if they're not having it, even if one of them doesn't want to have it will always exist.
It's always
And then it's like,
there.
girl, shut up. But
It's so frustrating because it's just I've had a lot of guy friends in my life, but a lot of the friendships have been fraught, but a lot of them haven't. Okay, at least
guess
not to
what?
my
Some of my
knowledge.
female
You
friendships can
know?
also be fraught.
Yeah,
Exactly.
you know, I've slept with friends that were women. I've slept with friends that are boys. And guess what? Sometimes you can still be friends. You've just now slept together.
Sometimes
Oh
there
well.
can
Sometimes you can
be
move past it.
sexual tension completely never comes to anything and is never really resolved, but over
It's just
time,
the
you move
dynamic.
forward.
Yeah, it's about,
It's
you
not
know,
our fault
just
that we have
seeing.
sexual tension with literally everybody.
First of
I
all, yeah.
know. Oh my
It's just not
God.
our fault.
Dude, yeah. I was at work over the weekend and I was like making this comment about something like that someone said to me, and they're like, "Oh, Monica, you're giving off pheromones to everyone." And I was like, "Bitch, I am just being nice. What
Nice.
do you
Yep.
want me to do?"
If you're
Ugh.
sniffing around, that's actually on you.
Like, so I'm not allowed to smile at people and say hello? Okay, I guess not. Then sue me. It's just annoying. It's hard to be friendly and a
So hard to
woman.
be beautiful and
It's so
sexy
hard
and
to be
also
so
kind,
hot and
Kind
kind
and
and
hot
cool.
and smart and funny and hot again.
personable,
Yeah, it's so
Just
charming.
hard
the
for the three
raised
of us in
levels are
particular.
well, here's the thing. We
We
have unparalleled sexual tension.
Yeah, I was gonna say we haven't let
Like
it ruin the
I
podcast.
know. I know. We've done a really good job of that. And I think it's great too because we also do little kissies and we haven't let it go too crazy. So that's great too.
exactly.
I was like, that
Well,
was the
just
thing
wait
that
to
was
see how long Sydney will hold me in bed. So that might be the real deal breaker. But I believe Sydney would hold all night.
Mhm.
mm, beautiful. That's
I
so
love to
sweet.
cuddle.
But I did think that was like a really interesting thing in this movie that like they're like friends and they're like, we're not fucking, we're not doing that. And they're like doing little pecks on the mouth all the
Yeah.
time.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, okay, are
Like, babes,
same sex
just
pecks Or no, sorry, same-sex pecs are obviously on the
Always
table.
on the table.
Those
Same
are
sex
always
pecs,
on the
always
table.
on the table.
You
I was like, are
gotta kiss
opposite
the
sex
homies.
pecs on the table? And was like, I didn't know that was in the vernacular. Even like Carrie Fisher's, what's his name? Carrie Fisher's husband.
Yeah,
Jess.
Jess.
Bruno
He's
King,
like,
the actor.
yeah, he was like, oh, you don't
I'll
have a
kiss
kiss
you.
for New Year's?
Mhm.
I'll kiss you. And I'm like, okay, I guess cool.
I was like,
The
I guess
80s
it's
were
cool.
sick. The 80s were cool.
Carrie Fisher does not seem to mind. Then again,
Yeah.
I mean,
she loves a little affair with a married man. So
I would be fine if Adam kissed
it's
you all
nothing.
lightly on the lips. That wouldn't bother me at all. So
Adam does give us lots of
And I
forehead
did kind of know
kisses.
that about you.
yeah.
Like
open to
at this point, all my friends,
If
partners,
Adam
I'm
was
like,
the
where's
only
Sydney
man-
forehead kiss?
Yeah, if Adam was the
Where's-
only man at New Year's Eve, I do believe that he would go down the line.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
you just
yeah.
go,
Oh man, should I have a New Year's Eve party again? That shit
And
sucks.
only invite my female
Ugh.
friends.
Oh my
Only
god. No, we
ladies?
had like this iconic one. Maybe I'll have a party tonight because, of course, should I go back to the farce that this is coming out in a
This
timely manner?
tonight is New Year's Eve.
Tonight is
New Year's Eve.
Yeah,
I'm gonna throw a party. No, I gotta have another party because I had one. The last time I had one was right after Don't Worry, Darling, and I needed to have a party so bad because I watched Don't Worry, Darling, and Olivia Wilde had the Martini Tower, and that's the whole
Yeah.
reason I had the party. So this can be my inspiration for this
Adam,
year.
you must kiss everybody lightly on the
give everybody a
or
little
else.
kissy.
More. It'll be beautiful. But yeah, I mean, I just love also the hair journeys throughout this whole movie because I love that it covers such a long period of time. Like 12 years
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
a long period of time and so many gorgeous eras for Meg Ryan and her gorgeous, gorgeous hair. I'm glad we left that curly thing from the first part, the 70s.
I
behind.
like that actually.
I liked it
thought
when
she
it
looked
relaxed
so good.
more, but then they kept curling it back up 5 seconds later, and I was like, I think when they first see each other again after that initial meeting, that I just think she looks so fucking cute, and she's just so smitten with fucking bitch ass McGee. What's his name?
Joe.
Joe. Also, the actor who played Joe, his name was like Stephen Ford or something, and that's Gerald Ford, who was like our 30-something president son. The more
Stephen
you know.
Ford is
Yeah.
Gerald
Gerald
Ford's
Ford's
son. That is so what the
Interesting.
wow. Amazing. I never could have anticipated it. I never could have anticipated that. That's fucking crazy. He was in Black Hawk Down. Good for him. Good for him. And Transformers from 2007.
Wow.
He's a star. He's a star. I just love her little bob. I almost did that for my hair because I have a blonde wig with front bangs, but I was like, I don't know how to curl a wig. I think I just melt it to make it flippy outy. That's
Tricky
not for
biz,
me
for
to
sure.
know. I can't use heat tools except for my crimper, which I used today.
Your hair
Now
looks
you know.
beautiful.
Oh, thanks so much. I got a haircut earlier today.
I definitely
Busy
need a
day for you,
haircut.
Monica.
I got a haircut. I went to Artesia. I ate Indian food. I saw Wicked. I cried for the whole entire time, and then
And
I came
tonight
here.
you're gonna celebrate New Year's Eve?
And tonight I'm gonna
Wow.
celebrate New Year's because Wicked is still in theaters. And yes, there you go. The ruse is up. The gig is up. But yeah, okay. Well, we didn't talk about the first part enough for me, honestly. Because that sets up everything for their whole entire relationship. I just think that I don't know. It really sets up Billy Crystal to be kind of a dick in my mind. I guess he's supposed to be.
He is. He's a
Charming,
dick
but
the
he's-
whole time.
Yeah, he's such a fucking dick, and he literally needs to be rehabbed by a whole wife for
Right.
6 years in order to be ready for all the beauty of Sally
Enough to
Albright.
be broken enough.
He's just not a serious person yet. And you see him with Amanda Reese, that friend that neither of them can quite
Macking on
fully
her.
recall immediately. But you like it's that is his girlfriend, who I do believe he is exclusive with in the confines of the plot. Um, but it is very clear that he just is like kind of not going through the motions necessarily, because I think he likes her, but I think it's like, yeah, you get your girlfriend, you tell them you love them, then you get to make out. Like that's how it works. Like he's not like seriously invested in a relationship necessarily, or maybe he's already got a foot out the door because he's like, I'm moving to New York. But he just does not. I mean, he kind of says it when he does get together with Helen, is that like when he runs into Sally again and he's like, oh yeah, I'm getting married. Well, I fell in love, like blah blah blah. Like I really think he just like felt something he didn't know he could feel when he and Helen got together. And so like he just didn't take like love and dating and relationships like seriously, and he was at an age and stage in life where he couldn't fully conceptualize that other people in the world are real whole people in the same way that he is. But he got there in time. Wish he'd gotten there sooner, but we're all on our own journeys.
I want to point out right at the very beginning. So it says like University of Chicago, like clearly they're supposed to be on campus. And that is like south side of Chicago, right? And then it cuts to them driving and they're coming from the north side down Lakeshore Drive. And I'm like, not correct.
Geographically incorrect.
Would recognize that so stupid right now.
You look like a fucking idiot.
Dumb bitch.
You dumb bitch.
Wow, I think we know who's winning dumb bitch this episode.
The director. the scout.
Anybody would know that.
It's so obvious.
That's so fucking funny. Oh my god.
Just had to point that out because that was the first thing.
Yeah. Get your Chicago knowledge, girl.
Yours was that, and mine was the hair continuity. I was going fucking nuts. I was like, boys, let's please figure this shit out for a second here.
One thing I did love about that early scene and collection of scenes as they're traveling to New York, though, is that like Sally is like, and I've come up with this whole schedule for us to have shifts driving, and when we take turns and where we take turns, and we'll each do 3 hours on and then 3 hours off, or we could do it by the maps or whatever. But like we only ever see her driving. We don't actually see Billy Crystal driving at all. There's like that one time where she like starts to go get in the passenger side of the car, but then he walks over there also, so she like fully loops around to be like, what the fuck are you doing?
She doesn't want to be near him.
Right. Yeah, she's like, get
Spark,
away
she
from
doesn't
me.
trust him. She shouldn't let him behind the wheel. She's in control then.
No, I think that is what it is. I think it really like establishes visually that like she is in control. She's the one like driving this relationship, whatever it may be at this point, which I think is important and nice if he's going to be there being like, yeah, we're definitely going to fuck at some point. Like you need her to be like, no, and to feel like she has like the power and authority to be like, no, and it'll be fine.
Ugh, yeah. I just love the progression of things too. Like I love that when they see each other again, he can't like totally place her, but he obviously
like, you look familiar, but who are you?
He's obviously still like, whoa, this is someone though. That was something to me. He can't quite place it.
Crazy though, the way he walks by them making out, which does mirror him and Amanda making out. So like that's kind of fun. But he walks by them making out and then he just like doubles back and like just lasers his eyes into them until they separate so that he can go, Joe, I thought it was you. It's like, a girl, did you really need to say hi to Joe? Was it that important?
Yeah. The one thing that bothers me a little bit in this movie, and it's just the way the cookie crumbles, but like I don't love revealed that this doesn't have lenses.
Wow, I never would have guessed.
There's something in my eye. It's pretty obvious, at least from my perspective, that it seems like Sally like knows she likes him but also hates him. They're the same feeling a lot of the time.
You
like
can tell that she's
before.
like charmed by
She's
him and she's
yeah,
annoyed by
she's
that.
more
Yeah.
she's like into him from the get-go, I think. And he's like convinced himself that he's not. I just don't like that like she is initially the one who like likes more and falls harder and blah 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 blah, because I just like, I want her to be still in that like driver's seat position of power, but it still ends up fine. But it's just like it's hard to fall first and harder. It's just a demoralizing feeling.
I know.
I think you could make an argument that he falls first or at the same time, but he just does not recognize what his feelings are in the same way
Yeah.
that she does. Because there is that scene, I think it's their first New Year's where they're like dancing cheek to cheek, and you see his expression first, where he's like leaning into her and his eyes are closed, and then when it spins around, because
Yeah.
the choreography of that scene is so brilliant.
Oh, it's
It
so
spins
good.
around
I
and you
love
see
that
her
scene.
face where she's kind of being like, what is happening right now? And then you spin back around to his face and he's being like, uh-oh. And then you spin back around to her face where she's
Ruh-roh.
trying to be like,
She's like,
okay, maybe go with it. But then she's also being like, it's approaching midnight. Are we gonna kiss? I don't know what's happening. But
going
like,
Oh my
on?
God.
he's the
Yeah.
one
And
that
like that awkward
expresses,
pause.
yeah, should we
Ooh.
go get air? And then it's like, should we just for fun, just for a little kissy, just New Year's style? Mwah.
Just a little
Yeah.
between friends. Ugh. Brutal.
But he's
So
very much
brutal.
like the pursuer of her for sure. It's just
Yeah.
like, what is he pursuing and what is she pursuing when she's the one that is like maybe interested in something? I don't know. I kind
He
of think he is always the one moving things forward in that
Yeah.
way.
he is so smitten with her, but he doesn't have the words for it. Like he's just drawn to her like a magnet, like she's the magnet. Because like he
'Cause they have
literally
chemistry.
they have undeniable chemistry.
I think they do really, really, truly, genuinely like each other's personalities, which are consistent throughout the movie, but they need to both grow to figure out like how, how do I find a way to like not go crazy with this person? How do I find a way to like this person needs to like settle into themselves more and grow up a little, and I also need to like grow a little and not be so like rigid in my own thoughts. Like he's the one being like, you're rigid, you like things exactly the way that you like them, you have these like very specific thoughts and feelings about the way things are done, and it's like you are also rigid in the beginning. You're the one being in here being like, oh, you experience joy, well that's not allowed. Like, oh well, you're not being very deep. Like
He
they're
has his
both
own
doing
rules and
it.
regulations. Yeah.
I actually, okay, this is a question for Sydney. Do you think both Harry and Sally are autistic?
Yes.
I think there's room for that.
Yes.
Sally's got a lot of texture issues with her food in particular.
Like,
Gotta have it
God
on the
forbid
side.
anything
yes.
ever be soggy. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
so
like
funny.
that's
He just comes out and
quick
says
yes.
things and is like, that's the way I feel. Why would that be wrong to
Why would that
express
upset you in
any
that
regard?
without ever giving a thought to be like, wait, how could this be received? Like, he's just like, I'm being myself.
Yes.
What could be wrong with that?
You just need to receive that from me and move on.
And I think she's doing a lot of like feminism, autism masking with her like playing along and pretending, because she's like, I've learned the polite thing to do in society is to pretend. So I fake orgasms, I fake laugh at jokes. Like, just a thought, just something I'm putting out there.
Yes.
It's so funny though too to see her progression through the movie, because like in the very first the first meal they have together at the diner scene, there's that moment when she says like, I've had great sex, and like the whole room goes quiet or whatever, and she's
Right?
like
That's so
mortified. She's so embarrassed, leading to later when she does the full screaming fake orgasm
Organizer.
sweet orgasm in Catstelli, and she doesn't bat an eye. She just goes right back to eating her specially ordered lunch right after, no questions asked, so it's
I'll
cool to
have
see
what
like
she's
her.
having.
So good to see her like become more confident taking up space over time.
And just like living her life, and sometimes that's in public. And also I just think I just love it as a character moment of her being like, yes, before I was so embarrassed that anybody might overhear that I've ever had sex. And now I'm prepared to very publicly, loudly fake an orgasm just to prove a point to you because I think you're being a little bitch right now. And whatever embarrassment I might ever have possibly felt in this moment is so secondary to showing you that you're being a little bitch right now.
Yep.
The
100%.
growth.
The growth.
I also
I
I
love
think
her.
he has growth too. You know what? Like one moment, I didn't put down too many moments in my notes because I was like on my walking pad when I was like watching part of this movie.
You can't
And then
type and walk, you'll fall to your death.
Exactly.
it's dangerous.
Protect yourself.
I did write down a couple of notes, but one of them was like when they're walking in the park and it's like very fall. And Sally is talking about her sex dream, and her sex dream that she's been having recurring since she was 12 is just that a man rips her
Rips all her
clothes off,
clothes.
and the only
No
thing that ever
face.
changes is that sometimes the outfit is different. This
That was so
faceless
fucking
man.
funny.
Yeah, and she never gets beyond that, and Harry's just like, okay. So he
Okay.
has learned somewhere along the way that sometimes inside thoughts stay inside.
That's
Yes.
so funny.
He's like, let me not psychoanalyze this the way he 100% would have in that initial college scene.
Right? He's just like, okay, that's cool.
Okay, girl.
Oh, all right. Good for you. I love that other part that's right around there where he's like doing that weird voice and like making them
Yes.
talk in the weird voice.
Yeah.
So funny. Which led me to look up if he voiced Bartok from Anastasia, and he did not. Just so you know.
Sad.
I was
He
like,
is Mike
wow,
Wazowski,
was
though.
he Bartok? No, he's Mike Wazowski. He's so talented.
What
The
can this man
range.
do?
The range. That's so fucking
No, I love
funny.
that. And apparently one of those lines, he did improv. He did a lot of improv on this movie. But I was just reading about it in IMDb trivia. Pecan. Why can't I spell pecan? There we go. I got it. In the museum scene, Billy Crystal ad-libbed, "But I would be proud to partake of your pecan pie." Meg Ryan laughed and looked to her right, where director Rob Reiner silently prompted her to go with it. So, like, there are a lot of moments, like the orgasm scene too. Meg Ryan came up with the idea to fake an orgasm in that scene and to have it be set in a restaurant rather than to just have it be like a conversation between the two of them, which is what it originally was in the script. But then Billy Crystal was also the one who came up with Rob Reiner's mom, who plays the other woman in the deli, being like, "I'll have what
Oh,
she's having."
that's Rob Reiner's
So
mom.
that's Rob. That's the director's mom. Yeah,
That's incredible.
So good. I love that.
so they just did a lot of playing around on this movie too, which is really fun.
I love
They
movies
had a
that you
really
can
good
play.
time.
Know
They
what I
just
mean?
look like they're having
Yeah.
fun. And I love the device of the interviews with all of the different couples sprinkled throughout the movie, because it also kind of, a lot of them are like priming you for like the general journey of what's going on right now, whether it's like the next few scenes or whether it's like the larger arc of the movie. But some of them it's like, yeah, we were together and then it didn't work out, but we found our way back to each other. And sometimes you need to have that growth in the middle to really be ready for each other. Or sometimes it's like, we met, but I moved away, and that was just the person I was supposed to be with. So when I came across them 35 years later, yeah, we got together. Or like the invisible string of fate that like has your paths interweaving over life, even if you never meet until you do.
Yeah,
I
I
don't know.
loved that
I
one.
loved those. I also loved the one where the couple is like talking over each other the whole time. And I was like,
loved
that
that
must be what it feels like to listen to Spooky Tuesday.
one. 100%.
Yeah. We're just an
100%.
old married couple. It's
We're
fine.
an old married throuple.
Yep.
And that's just the way that it is.
Beautiful.
Apparently those stories were like based on truth. Like they interviewed the production people and got their stories and stuff, which is so sweet. And I love that the movie ends like with one of those with our couple. I just think that
Mm-hmm.
is so sweet. Um But also, I just wanted to say this before I forget. They really like almost named this like some of the worst names for movies I've ever heard.
Yeah,
I don't
wasn't
know
it
what
like
they
they
are. Privy with
couldn't
them.
figure out what to name it?
No, they couldn't figure it out, and they had like a prize. They had like a contest to see who would win. Like
Okay.
a good like the best ideas, and then they came up with When Harry Met Sally with the ... suggesting there's more to the story. Whoa.
The ... is so important,
Oh
actually.
shit. But they
Harry
were
met
gonna name
Sally,
it.
and then 2 more hours of movie happened. No, it's an hour and a half.
They're gonna name it How They Met. That was the original one. Okay, whatever.
It's
Boy
close, but
meets.
it's not quite there.
It's not the cigar. Boy meets girl. Okay, basic.
Really highlight on the
Just
boy in that title.
I know. Just Friends, which there is another rom-com that I like with that name. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not called that. That movie's actually really problematic. Anyway, I liked
Is
it
that Friends
though.
with Benefits?
There's two. There's No
Yeah.
Strings
Yeah,
Attached
there's the
and Friends
Mila
with
one,
Benefits.
and then there's the Ashton one, and they're
One.
different.
Yeah, and they're so different.
Wait, what's
One
the
was Friends
one
with
with
Benefits.
Ryan Reynolds?
The Natalie Portman one might be. Oh, I feel like there is a Ryan Reynolds.
That's the one I'm talking about,
Amy
and
Smart?
he's unfortunately in the fat suit at the beginning, and that's why it's
Yeah.
problematic.
Yeah, with Amy Smart.
IMDb.
I think it's called Just Friends, but I could be wrong. It's called Just Friends.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You're so right, bestie.
Never doubt me again. No,
Oh,
you
No Strings
probably
Attached is the
should.
Natalie Portman,
Yeah.
Ashton Kutcher one.
Yeah. But I lost the thing now. Where is it? Give me 1 second. Okay. Words of Love. Okay, get over yourself. And then this one I think is so funny. This is other titles. We're back to that. This is the funniest one. Harry, this is Sally.
Okay.
Okay, girl. Thank God.
Yeah.
There's an alternate reality out there where the movie's called Harry, this is Sally.
This is Sally.
I mean, maybe if that movie was called Harry, This is Sally, and we saw the movie and that was the only title we ever knew, we would be like, I love Harry, This is Sally. I think the title is perfect. I don't know, like maybe it's confirmation bias. But When Harry Met Sally is, I think, a wonderful title.
Yes.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. Also, they originally were gonna make this movie have a not happy ending too. I read, and yeah, because Rob Reiner was so depressed.
Get over it, girl.
Depressed from his divorce.
Well, he met his wife while working on this movie. So, but like, what about Nora Ephron? She's the screenwriter. She doesn't get a say.
Girl, that is literally because they worked on it together. Rob Reiner had the idea originally, and then he came to Nora Ephron with it. And
Story by Rob Reiner, screenplay by Nora Ephron, kind of thing.
Well, yeah, but she said no because he made it too much about Harry. It was like too much from the boy's perspective, and she wasn't interested in it. And then he like worked on it more and came back to her, and then she's like, "Okay, I love this." But like, yeah, originally they weren't gonna end up together. I don't know exactly how, because he was super fucking sad, and he was like, "Love is dead," because he was going through a divorce. But then he met his future wife, Michelle Singer, on the set, and he started to fall in love. And so he fell in love so hard that this is a quote from a Collider article. He fell in love so hard that he changed the ending, having Harry and Sally stay together. And Reiner and Billy Crystal wrote new dialogue for the final scene to make it make sense.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, if this had ended, it can't be a rom-com if they don't end up together. Right? Then it's just a rom sad. That's not.
And those are not fun.
Great. It's not fun. I can watch Portrait of a Lady on Fire if I want to just cry. Actually, I haven't seen that, so I don't know if it ends sad, but I feel like it has to. I feel like it has to end sad.
I think it does, but
it's lesbians. They have to both die horrifically at the end. It's one of those period lesbian ones where it ends terribly. But yeah, so thank God. Otherwise, what the ramifications of this ending, sadly, would have destroyed a generation. The 90s would have been completely
We would have never known love.
No.
I think that's
seriously.
true.
Yeah.
There are thankfully
100%.
so many other Meg Ryan rom-coms that will re-spark your belief in love, but this I think could have tanked it for a while for sure.
It would've.
100%. And also, wasn't this like really early in Nora Ephron's career? And then like, I think this like jazzed her up. I don't know why I'm praising it that way. I don't know what that even means, but it jazzed her up. And then she like went on to like direct her own properties after this. Cause I think, yeah, she had a good time. Real good time.
Yeah, she'd done stuff before When Harry Met Sally. But it does look like this is like of her movies that are very popular, this is the one that came first.
Yeah.
Like
so
Sleepless in
like,
Seattle was later, and You've Got Mail
yeah,
was later.
yeah. And she
Julie
directed
and
those,
Julia
right?
was later.
I still haven't seen Julie. Wait,
My mom
no, I must
is
have seen
obsessed.
Julie and Julia. I have purchased
I
it on iTunes.
love that movie.
I own 2 movies on iTunes. Actually, 3. No, 4. Sixth Sense, Julie and Julia, which I don't know if I've seen, Twilight, and then I just bought New Moon just a month ago.
My iTunes library, I bought this movie on Amazon though. Sorry to anybody who knows that that's a bad decision, which I also know, but what are you gonna do? My iTunes library includes Sky High,
Slay.
Yeah.
Slay. What's that Zach Braff one that is embarrassing
Garden
to
State?
own? Yeah, Garden State.
I still haven't seen that.
Josie and the Pussycats. Some bangers in there. A couple episodes of Cake
Only
Boss.
the bangerang.
I have a lot of purchased iTunes over the years movies. So
I used to buy
Let me
music
see.
videos. I don't know where they
Like-
are now.
Mean
though.
Girls. Mean Girls saved National Lampoon's Van Wilder. That's my collection.
Wow. That's
Really well rounded.
Wow.
I love a girl movie, but also a boy movie.
I have to say too, that I love Carrie Fisher as like a best friend or like a little side character because she's
Mhm.
had her heyday in Star Wars, you know, so it's just fun to have her around. But I was obsessed with Mary and how she was like she needed to hear 4,000 million times
He's
over the
never
course of
gonna
an
leave her.
entire
Yep.
year that he's never gonna leave her.
he's never gonna leave
And
her.
she knows it, and she's always known it, but she's just doing her, okay?
It's hard. It's hard. And the concept of the double date thing ending the way that it did is just like rom-com brilliance. It's
Well,
like at
Speaking
its
of Ryan
finest.
Reynolds, apparently that's how Ryan Reynolds and
Blake Lively.
yeah, they like alleged because they were allegedly also probably hooking up on the set of Green
No,
Lantern.
he would never do that.
But they were like, yeah, we were actually on dates with other people, and then we just really hit it off, actually.
That's crazy. But yeah, I loved the writing in this. It was just so brilliant. She was like, "Oh, you know what they say, blah blah blah." Oh, I read that from a magazine. He's like, "I wrote that." Oh my
Yeah.
god!
Right?
It's on
I
like
loved
Donkey
that.
Kong right then. Somebody's quoting what you wrote. Jess has never thought he needed love, but
Nope, but
he was
he's
happy just
surely
being
found
married to
it.
his work.
yeah. Also, I just love them.
Oh, so
so
he
much.
is already a married man, actually. So he is Carrie Fisher's type.
Exactly. It totally makes sense. I, for one, though, my one big point of contention with this movie is that I'm with Jess on the wagon wheel table. I actually loved the wagon wheel table. Everybody was a
love the wagon
hater
wheel table,
about the
Monica.
wagon wheel table. I liked the wagon wheel table. I thought it was tasteful and fun.
I think there's time and place for wagon wheel table. They haven't finished setting up their whole living room, so it's really hard to say if they could
Yeah.
have made it work or not. But I think it is one of those things Carrie Fisher is kind of saying where it's like, were there endless room? Of course there would be space and a place for wagon wheel
Put it in
table,
storage.
but space being what it is.
Mhm.
It was very tactfully done, but I would have fought for the wagon wheel table. But I get to do the forefront of the design choices in my home, so I feel like I would have gotten to keep the wagon wheel table.
Yeah, you would have just showed up with wagon wheel table and been like,
This is our
in
coffee
the
table
house
now, Adam. He'd be
and
like,
he'd just be
"Oh
like,
God."
whatever.
I almost
He would
thought
come
that
home
like
and you would have completely rearranged a room around the wagon wheel
The
table. And I would be like, I already finished the project. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
And he would be like, fuck.
Okay.
He had to talk me down from that like table that's like a cowboy and he's laying down and he's like asleep
And he's like,
that's like it's more casual than that. He's not like dying under the
he's
glass.
not like
He's not like
propping up the glass.
he's like chilling. But I saw it once on like I don't even know where I saw it. I was like, I'm gonna buy it.
Cowboy.
I don't know how common it is, but I've just seen it around.
Oh no! If you
He's
Google
chill.
cowboy table, a bunch will pop right up.
Yeah.
I didn't realize this was such a phenomenon.
Yeah, I'm gonna get
Who
it
wouldn't
now.
want one of these?
Now I've reminded myself of this. Gonna ruin my house.
Resting cowboy.
He's just chilling and
He is
he's
just
holding up your
chilling.
coffees, and that's so nice of him.
So real.
That's so nice of him. Anyway, I just okay, I don't know how far into this movie we are yet, but
say whatever is in your heart.
Yeah.
I just wanted to talk about how upset I was after they had sex.
I know.
Oh my god. It's just such a mess also.
So bad. It was such a mess. Oh, what? What were you gonna say?
As the second that it starts to happen, when they start kissing, it's like look, I know that she just went through 47 tissues, but I just feel like there's so much snot involved right now that I don't want them to be kissing. And that I don't know. You guys let me know if the kiss was working for you, but the kiss is not working for me. Maybe again because I've seen this movie a bunch of times, and so I know that this is the precipice of disaster. And so I'm going, no, stop, don't. But the kiss was not giving, and so I wasn't even being like, okay, yes, have your moment, fuck each other, do you know what I mean? I was just like, no.
I just didn't like the dynamics of it because she was like hurting and vulnerable and stressed, and like he is there to like comfort her or whatever. But then I hated how she was so like smitten and happy and blissful and all this stuff, and he's like freaking out. Like I just felt so bad for her. I don't know. It just it was horrible. I was getting Alex level movie anxiety.
Yeah, it was a little icky.
It's a little icky in particular because of the like gender rules and stereotypes, but I do think it is so true to their characters and their like character journeys that
definitely.
it pulls it off, because it's like, I mean, they go through it in this scene. Sally does not want to be with Joe, cannot have the life that she wants with Joe, was the one who broke it off with Joe, but is now having this moment of like, why doesn't anybody want me? Even if that's not reflective of reality, and even if on some level she could take a step back and go, people out there would be down to be in a relationship with me or have sex with me or whatever it is, but it's like this specific thing that I want that it is hard to find because it's hard to find for it to be right. And she also just is like,
keep going, sorry.
She just is like, why didn't he, what was wrong with me? And then to get that from somebody that she loves and has had these like moments of like, what is this with? She's like, oh, it's right here, it's immediate. And she'd had that conversation with Billy Crystal before where Harry was like, you just gotta be getting out and fucking people. Like, why aren't you out here fucking people? Like, you're not gonna be moving on until you're fucking people. And she's like, first of all, you're fucking everybody. And what's it doing for you? Getting over Helen, literally zip. So shut the fuck up. And also, I'm not having sex again until I'm making love with somebody. That's what I'm interested in. So that's like what triggers his freak out too, is like, he knows there's no way for this happened like naturally, and maybe it could have been casual if they had had a conversation about it promptly. They
but
which they
did
kind
it. They
of
made
did,
it
but
weird.
it was like messy, and it's like sometimes you need space to process your emotions. Like that's just human nature to a degree. Like things can't always go perfectly 100% of the time. But he, I think, is going, oh, she said she's not gonna have sex again until she's making love, and we just had sex. So have I just suddenly found myself in the middle of like a serious committed relationship that I didn't necessarily mean to engage in? And how, like, what are the expectations of me now? Like, I think he just fully has like a freak out independent of his usual, I usually just like to go home after I have sex.
He did the like guy thing where it's just like, oh, now I have to be like committed. What do you mean? Like
Nobody.
the fear of commitment thing. I'm like, oh my God.
Get over it.
So frustrating. I had a very important smart thought and it's gone now. So never mind. It's okay. It's okay. I just think I keep trying to start saying something and that'll just come out.
Like
but
it'll
no.
just come out. Yeah.
And it's not there. There's nothing there. It's just
Yeah,
hard to watch them fall apart like that because there's just so much leading up to this moment. There's so much ramping up tension for years, for 12 years. For 12 years, there has been sexual tension. And then this is the catharsis of that. And it's at a weak point for both of them. I don't know. And also, oh, okay, this is part of what I was going to say. I think it's interesting too, because I think that the way that they have both grieved their relationship, their past relationships, their most recent relationship is like very opposite, obviously, with the sex stuff. But also, I would argue that like Harry has been like feeling it all, like being like hard on his sleeve, emotional, confronting it directly. And Sally's not at all. She's like trudging through.
He's being very okay, I don't necessarily want to say he's being very Jewish about it. He is being very Jewish the whole movie. But she's being very waspy about it specifically, where it's like, I'm just pushing everything down and I'm not processing everything. And if I just pretend everything's fine, everything's gonna be fine.
Well, yeah, and it's also like something you were saying earlier, like about like the feminist something, or she's like, I'm a strong woman and I'm not upset that this relationship ended. Like, it's fine. I wanted what I wanted.
Choice.
And I decided, yeah. So like she hasn't actually grieved it. So like one thing that I thought was a great thing about this movie is that like they didn't get together in the immediate aftermath of their horrible breakups because that's just not good for the mind and you need space to process. But when you think about it in their actual emotional journeys, like Harry, I think had been getting over it for this long period of time and then he got to his answer. And I think that like Sally is behind in some ways with that. I think she's probably processed a lot of it in a different type of way, but that emotional catharsis that she has that night is that's like the heart on her sleeve moment where she can really be like, "Oh my God, well he didn't want me." And feel that pain, which is just horrible that must have been so bad.
They're really going through it.
It's so fucking real to be in a relationship for several years that you're like imagining is like maybe the relationship you're going to be in for the rest of your life, and then it ends, and for a really long time you go, well, the circumstances weren't right, they just weren't right. And then at some point you have a realization where it's like, oh, that person didn't want to date me, that's why we broke up. And it's like, yeah girl, that's why you broke up. But sometimes it like doesn't hit in that like personal way. It's so easy to go, well, if things had been different, maybe it could have been different. And like sometimes somebody just doesn't want to date you, and that doesn't have to be a reflection on you the way that Sally spirals. But it is so shocking when like months or years after you have a breakup that you like finally process like, oh, it is not a reflection on you, but it is personal sometimes.
Yeah, it's just like it is like, oh, it's not you, it's me, blah blah blah. It is you. Like, you know what I mean? It's not that you did anything wrong.
It's not that
but
you're
just
wrong,
like
but you're not for me.
Yeah.
You're not that person's person. They're not your person. And that fucking sucks to be like, okay, there's something about me that they didn't like. And it doesn't mean that there's something about you that they hated, but there's something about you that's not the thing that's their thing. You know what I mean? And this, it goes both ways, but it's horrible.
It's hard to process. It's like it's shocking when you have that realization too. It's so funny to be like, wait, why am I surprised that I just realized that they broke up with me because they didn't want to date me. Why am I shocked by this information way after the fact?
There's so many other words you can use, you know? There's so many other ways you can say it. And then you're like, ah, shit. At the end of the day, I was rejected on a
Man.
categorical level. And doesn't that sting? But anyway, we're all better off now, aren't we?
I think, yeah, I mean, I think failed relationships are not necessarily, because sometimes like you get it right on the first try, or sometimes you just grow in a zillion different ways until you meet the person that you're supposed to be with. But having relationships are important learning experiences and growth opportunities, and like
You learn about you a lot.
you learn so much about yourself as you move through life. And like, is there a larger plan for us all? Whatever, girl, I don't know. But
Oh,
like,
Jesus
Who cares?
Christ.
yeah, we're not, that's not what this episode is about. But sometimes you
Chelsea.
are not
We
ready
were talking about
for
that
the
earlier,
love
so.
that like you're gonna have and is gonna be your love for the rest of your life, until you have learned a lot of things and have been through a lot of things.
Yeah.
And that sucks a lot of the time immediately, but like, that's life, girl.
That's life. And I'll say for me, getting my heart broken, I got way cooler after that. I got way cooler and way less like meek and shit because I'd been through something. So sometimes it's like, what is it? Forged in the fire. That's
Sometimes
what'll
you
happen
gotta
to you.
experience heartbreak to be a hot ass bitch.
And even
What else were
sometimes
we
when
saying
it's
about
just
ourselves
like
earlier? That was smart.
circumstantial or whatever,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I mean, even when it is that, sometimes you have to have the heartbreak to go, oh, I didn't realize, like Sally, I didn't realize that I wanted a family in XYZ
Mhm.
way.
Yeah.
And now I do realize that. And maybe I wouldn't have known that about myself without this experience. And it's unfortunate that that sometimes goes hand in hand with a heartbreak or whatever it is. Um, but it's a process of elimination game a lot of the time. Like
Yeah.
there's so many things in the world to try and to want and to have, that sometimes you don't know that something's not the right fit for you until you try it out.
Yeah. No, so true. So true. Oh, man. I love talking about rom-coms because I love to wax poetic about love. It's
I
so
love
good.
love.
I love love. And it can also be a bitch.
Yep.
But
Like
no, I
Billy
do think it's
Crystal in this moment.
yeah, I
Bringing it
think
back to
it's
the
so
film.
funny because they have the conversation on the airplane where he's like, how long is long enough to hold somebody? 30 seconds? I bet you want to be held all night. Somewhere in between there, it's the trouble. And that's exactly what happens is you see her immediately like blissed out, like curled in on him, smiling big.
So
She's like,
cute.
hey, King, do you want a glass of water? Don't worry, I'm already getting up. And he's just like, okay, like
Okay.
anything that will get me 30 seconds by myself to just be like, what's happening?
The process.
He is like, oh, she's really wants to sleep on top of me all night long. And I don't want that, regardless of whatever other emotional experience is happening. How do I navigate this? Because, like, he does love her and he doesn't want to hurt her. And I think you see that in the aftermath of their one night roll in the hay, because he's like, I don't want to be the one to say that this was a mistake. I hope she's the one that says this is a mistake. And she's also like, I want to be the one to say that this is a mistake. I don't want him to say that this is a mistake. But even when it plays out that way and she says it first and he goes, oh, I'm so relieved to hear you say that. She's like, why are you relieved?
What?
Why are you relieved? What? That's a very fast response to what I had to say.
Also,
Yeah,
I love
that was so relatable. Keep going. Sorry.
I think my favorite scene in this movie is the right after, and they both call Marie and Jess, and they're like having this, and I think that is, and you see like the four people, and you can hear everything, but you know that is just such a good scene.
It's
That's
so funny.
brilliant.
It's so
Brilliant.
well choreographed. It took 60
Ugh.
takes to nail it.
And
I
it is
bet.
worth it.
It was so funny. So fucking funny. Oh my god. I dream of those days when you had your own phone like
Right.
that, like an actual phone.
I
I
would
love if they have
love to have
separate
my own
numbers.
phone line for the phone right next to the bed
Yeah.
too. Also, like I do love the little things where like like they're in bed watching the same, like at the beginning watching the same movie,
Watching
and they're on
Casablanca.
the phone watching it, because like
And they like
I've
revisit that conversation from college as
yeah,
well. Of
but it's
like,
like
he's like, do you still like Ingrid Bergman's choice? And she's like, I never said that I like that. I never would have said
never,
that.
but like I would do that all the time. Like we used to do that where we would like hit play, but instead of just being on the phone, like we're on Zoom or something like that. And it's so
Yeah.
like
Could do that again.
it
Lovely
is
and
something
warm.
that's like platonically very romantic. It's like platonic
Yeah.
intimacy, right? And so you're sitting there and you're like, oh, okay, like this is a cute date thing, but also like you do this with your friends also.
Yeah.
You should go on dates with your friends, even if it's where you're
I
both in your own home
know.
watching a movie.
This is we're experiencing platonic romance like every other day in the Patreon, by the way, because all I do is be like, who's willing to hear my live reactions to movies? And it's always Chris. Love you, Chris. I love our platonic romance.
I am a firm believer in like platonic intimacy and platonic
100%.
romance, because that is how you maintain healthy relationships. Like,
yeah.
just because you're not fucking doesn't mean you can't have intimacy and sexual tension.
Doesn't mean I don't
Everything
want Sydney to
is
hold me all night long.
romantic.
Yes.
Oh, okay. To quote
Everything is
Charlie
romantic.
XCX.
Everything should be romantic, even if it's not
Mhm.
sexual.
Romanticize your life a little bit.
Yeah.
Girlies, boys, everybody. Babies, spookies. That's
Spooky
the catch-all.
Spooky
Spooky babies.
I do think it's so funny though, so many of the aspects of this film that like circle back around, because they do so much of it. The Casablanca thing is so funny to me, but like her being like, I never would have said that. I love the way that Billy Crystal does that continuously throughout the film.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, he's like, oh, what are you again? You were a gymnast, and she's like, journalist, and he's like, yeah, that's what I said. Like,
Yeah.
I just think
So funny.
he's so funny with those things. Like, it's so cute. He's kind of a gaslighter, but in a way where he's just doing a little bit.
It's
so
very
okay.
charming.
Yeah.
The part that I love maybe even the most is I think that same scene where he's like, oh, like she's like, oh, are you gonna be able to sleep after this, after the Casablanca phone call?
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I don't know, but even if I can't, maybe I'll just do some moaning. And he just starts doing the moaning, and then they hang
Should
up.
I practice
And he just
right now? Yeah.
legitimately doing the moaning.
Some people
And I was like,
to
oh,
moan.
babe, it's we've been there.
Yeah, that's so real. That's so real.
So real. Oh, so cute. Oh man. But I just rewatched the end like right before we started, so it's like just so in my head, but I think it's so cute how it starts with him like kind of like not talking himself down, but just being like, this is fine. You're fine. You're cool with being alone at your house by yourself on New Year's Eve. This is actually totally chill, and it's something that you love.
This is
And
actually the best. You can do all the window shopping you've been meaning to do.
and he's like, oh, actually, it's great. Now I'm going on a walk. And that's so nice. And don't we love a walk? Don't we just love
He
that?
does
And it's
love a
totally
walk.
fine.
Didn't you see him and Jess in their Princess Diana moment with their like leggings and their big sweatshirts, and Billy Crystal's walking like this, like so much hip action in his walk.
Right? I love those.
He's
Oh, speaking of Princess Diana,
actually.
she loved
Speaking
this
of Princess
movie.
Diana,
She loved this movie, and she was at the premiere, and she like asked for it on VHS, and she was like, there was like a quote, and she was like, I would have laughed more, but everyone was looking at me. Because everyone was like, Princess Diana's here.
What does she think about that? Yeah.
Love her. Great taste.
She loves love
elite
too.
taste.
Also, another scene that is really, really good is at the beginning, like in the beginning, and they're at the football game, and they're like talking about how he's getting a divorce, and then they're doing the wave.
That like in front of Mr. Zero.
It's so funny.
But yeah, the way that they're doing the wave mid very serious conversation, I do absolutely love. I am obsessed with that.
And I love the intimacy between these two men friends. but
As there
also
should be.
They always have
like,
to have
why
an
didn't
activity. They're at the game. They're at the
ball
batting range.
batting cages?
Batting
Yeah.
cages. I was like,
I
batting
remember
range
the
is not
thing.
right, but it's very close.
The
So
rage
close.
cage. But yeah, I mean, there's just every rom-com needs to have some equivalent of a running scene. Like
Has
this
to.
one. I love that it goes from him like talking himself down and then his mind like they showed like the montage with the like audio playback of different parts of the rest of the movie during that time. But for me, it feels like he's trying to clear his mind and talk himself out of any other thoughts that he might be having. I do this all the time, so I found it very relatable. Just be like self-narrate what's going on so you can't have real thoughts. But then like to
I'm
me
walking
that
down the street
montage
and I'm enjoying myself and I love to window shop on
and I
New
actually am
Year's
having a
Eve.
great time and nothing bad is going on at all. But like
And
the
everything is perfect.
montage feels like he can't get away from Sally. Like she like all the feelings like still rush in and take over his mind because like he loves her and he needs to
Mhm.
have this revelation. And I thought that was very cool. Yes, Chelsea, what would you like to say?
I would like to say that before that scene happens, when he is doing his, and I'm having fun walking around, and I love to walk around, he has this moment where he like stops and sees a couple embracing on the sidewalk. And he like kind of has like, you can see him having a thought inside of his head that doesn't get expressed out loud in a tangible way in the movie. But it is so similar to like what Sally is describing with her breakup with
Yes.
Joe, where she's
Yeah.
like,
Yes.
I was with my friend Alice's kid and
Yes.
like I saw a family and it just made me like break down and start sobbing and go like, I want a family. Like that's his moment where
Mhm.
he's like, I want
This is his
love. I
breakup
want to
moment.
be in part of a couple. And that's when he like stops putting up his defenses and gets like overwhelmed
starts
with like
running.
thoughts of Sally and his recollection and really
Yeah.
start because that's not when he starts running yet. He goes to like whatever, not the Arc de Triomphe, but whatever that
Oh,
arc
yeah.
is,
Yeah.
in the park, and that's when he starts to be like, okay, I realize I want a couple, or I want to be part of a couple. I want to have love. I want to be in a relationship. And I'm realizing that the person that I really want that with is Sally. And maybe I've always wanted it to a degree with Sally. And maybe I've always like been kind of distant from this feeling. And why have I been distancing myself from this feeling? Because like one thing that he is really good about in this movie is like man knows how to apologize. And
Yes.
especially as he gets
Yes.
older, he gets really good about being like, wait, Sally, I have something to say. I'm sorry,
Sorry.
or whatever. And like I love his like,
Their
hey girl,
fight.
it's Christmas
Yeah.
time.
This
I'm here to
when
do
he
the traditional
calls
Christmas grovel.
Right.
with the
Women
karaoke
love
machine.
a
Mhm.
grovel. Women love a grovel.
He is going to, he is being such a dick after they hooked up, especially at the wedding when he's being like, it's been forever, girl. 3 weeks. Yeah. You haven't moved on. What do you mean? You're
Right.
just
Yeah, he's,
a
like, already
dog. And
fucking
it's like,
someone
you know
else.
how 1 year for people is 7 years for a dog? You're the dog, girl.
He is
Move
being
on. It's
such a
like, girl,
bitch. I
first of all,
forgot about
you're the
that
dog.
part.
Sally's right.
Dog.
You're the dog. Shut the fuck up. But like, he realizes that he's a stupid bitch sometimes and he's like, okay, I'm trying to make up for it. I'm trying to apologize because I know that I occasionally step in it. And he's a good groveler.
He is a good groveler.
Women love men who will grovel. I'm just
Women love
saying.
men who will apologize, but grovel really is next level.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, I just love the ending of this movie is just it's so cute. It's so cute. I just that whole his whole like not monologue even it's even less than that. But I love that he just comes up to her and he was like, "I have something to say." And the thing is that I'm thinking, I love you. Like
I love you. Nope. What?
And he's like,
she's
your
like, "What am I supposed
turn.
to say to that?" And he's like, "I don't know, maybe that you love me too."
Just a suggestion. Just want to get out
Just an
there.
idea. Here's I'm just spitballing here. But I love that he's like his whole like rapid fire thing. Like I love that you're the last person I want to talk to before I go to sleep. That I can smell your perfume on my clothes after you leave. Like all the little details, even the irksome ones, are the reasons why. And
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it is such an interesting moment because they kind of have the conversation at the wedding about the hookup where he's like, you were just looking at me with like these big sad eyes, and like, how could I resist? And to her, she's being like, you slept with me because you felt pity for me. Like,
Right.
that is like the worst thing that she could possibly hear. And like, that
Yeah, it's
is
the worst thing anyone could
sort
hear.
of part
Yeah.
of it. But I also think part of it for him was like in that moment when they started like kissing, he was realizing like I want to be Sally's hero in this. Like it was like not about feeling bad for Sally. It was like about an opportunity for him to like be
The
a
hero.
leading man in many ways. You know what I mean? I don't think he like really fully processed that or understood where that was coming from
Yeah.
for himself. But I think as he gets to it later on, like when he shows up and she's like, I don't want to be your consolation for New Year's Eve. Like, I don't want us to be together just because you don't have someone else and I don't have someone else. He's being like,
Yeah.
no, that's like, that I said it bad, but that's not what it was. What it
No,
was
actually,
is
I
that like
love you.
I love you and I wanted to be there for you and be the one to comfort you in a moment where you're sad, and I want to be the reason that you feel good and like are happy, and like someone makes you meow or whatever. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. I think he is not always graceful with the way that he expresses himself
Yeah.
and with the way that he processes emotions. Sometimes it takes him a while, but when he gets there, he apologizes, he circles back around, he does what he can to make things right, and that is
Yeah.
really lovely.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cute. I also just love that she's like, I hate you. Like, she doesn't say I love you. She's like, I hate
Mm-hmm.
you so much. But then they still kiss.
And then they
They
still
Yeah.
love. Cute.
They are in love.
and then
This
they get
movie's
their
like a hug.
interview.
I know.
Oh,
And the
And it's
it's so
like
chocolate sauce
she
on the
yeah,
side.
she still wants her sauce on the side, bitch, and it's her wedding day.
It's her wedding.
and
She can get what she
Sally
wants.
gets what Sally wants.
Yeah.
Sally gets what Sally wants,
You
girl.
heard that right.
I love when they're on the double date with Marie and Justin. He is being like, Sally's the best orderer. She's gonna order things in ways the chef didn't even realize they could be ordered.
Which is a compliment and such a burn at the same time.
Such a
That's how you know
burn.
they're in love. Because you're able to like
Yeah.
That's how you
lovingly
know they're in
roast
love.
your
Razz each
partner.
Because he
other to the
circles
10th.
back at the end and he's not even razzing her in the interview. He's just like, that's the way she wants it, girl, and that's the way she gets
And that's
it.
how she fucking gets it. And don't get it twisted.
It's
And don't get it
perfect.
twisted.
It's perfect.
Okay, are we ready for our
Segmentos.
Oh my god.
Ooh.
No, I'm not ready because my improv moment is coming up.
I was
Okay,
like,
I
why'd
gotta
you
start
just look
thinking
so
now.
scared?
Oh my god. Okay,
Here, I'll
We just saw
distract.
fear in
In the meantime, how could this movie be gayer? Harry's name could be Hera. And it
Yeah,
could be a
I mean, I
woman.
think you could make a gay version of this movie, but I think so much of the premise is to some degree rooted in gender roles and
Men
gender
and women, yeah.
expectations. Yeah, like
It
can
would
a
be a
woman
totally
and a
different
man?
movie.
Right.
Okay, I do think that like there's three friends. You don't really see the third one. It's Marie, Sally, and then that other
Alice.
maybe. I don't know what her
Yeah.
name is. She could have been a lesbian.
Oh, and perhaps she is
Yeah.
because do we even hear the
We
name of
see
her
her.
husband? We just
Yeah, we
Oh.
see him once.
I got a wine
Oh
delivery.
my
Adam deserves a kiss
God.
on the mouth from all of us.
I
for that
haven't
one.
eaten in a long time. Somebody blacked out by the end of segments. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, I think Alice and they could be lesbian moms, and I would love that for them. I think
Yeah.
Carrie Fisher's role could be a gay guy. I want them to be lesbians, obviously, but I think Jess in Harry's story needs to be like a male figure because so much of his relationship with Sally is like his first female friend.
Mhm.
And like
Yeah.
maybe
No, I
there's a
agree
version
with
of
you.
that where it could be like a lesbian, so he's like, well, but that doesn't count. Not that that would be necessarily great, but if he was like, well, that's an exception to the rule because the possibility is not even on
gay.
the table. But then Sally would be like, but the possibility is not on the table with us either because I don't want to fuck you even if I do like men. Like, I don't know.
Mhm.
I think just within the confines of this story as it exists needs to be a man, but I do think Carrie Fisher's character could also be a man and it wouldn't meaningfully affect or even necessarily need to like change dialogue hardly.
Well, it would add a joke from Billy Crystal that was probably like homophobic, I think. Like innately. You know what I mean? But
But I
like
do think
it
there
would have
would
been a must in 89.
yeah. Yeah. I mean I love Marie and Jess's relationship. But I also think if she was a man, there could be like an extra degree of like richness to his I gave up on love and I thought I was just married to my job and I was coming to terms with that and making my peace with that
Yeah,
and
that'd
then
be
love came
cool.
into my life that I didn't expect. Um but then Billy Crystal also has to be bisexual for him to be being set up on a date with Carrie Fisher's
Oh, yeah, that
female
would have destroyed
character.
that. Yeah, which I
It
would
could
have
just
loved
be
to
like a
buy Billy
regular
Crystal.
grouping, but
They would lose
the
some of the
No.
double date
hilarity
aspect is
there.
very charming.
Yeah, I think because this movie is unfortunately very straight. You have to
Yeah.
keep like the main four have to be straight. Carrie Fisher could be bisexual at some point. Maybe instead of a married man, it's a married woman that she's been like going on about, and she's never gonna leave her husband or something. And you could be
Carrie
like,
Fisher bisexual.
yeah. But I think, and then she goes, and then, but you can have like more queer side along characters that are like
Well,
Yeah.
floating around in the
easy. One of the
background.
little mini scenes could be gay people.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. One of the
That's
Yeah,
an
interviews.
yeah,
easy
yeah.
place to
And in
put
the
it. Though
2025
marriage was
remake,
not
one of them will
legal
be
for
a
gay people then.
throuple.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Could be
They're
fun.
not doing it. Are they doing a remake?
No,
Were
I
you
was
just
making that
saying
up.
something?
No, I was just
Oh,
making that up.
I was like, don't
Did you get
fucking
scared?
tell me that. No, I don't want that shit. I don't fucking want
We
that
have
shit.
When Harry Met Sally already. We don't need
We
to do
don't
When Harry
need
have
Met
another
when
Sally.
Harry
one.
Met
I
Sally
can
at home. We
watch
don't
the
need.
old
You
one.
can do an inspired by Harry Met Sally, but you don't have to do exact same When Harry Met Sally.
Exactly. Come up with a new idea. My God. Anyway, any more gay thoughts you'd like to share?
So many more gay thoughts.
And I look forward to hearing them on our next episode. How's that one?
Beautiful.
I mean, it was less homophobic than the last one. Because the last one,
Cool.
you're like, keep those gay thoughts to yourself.
Those are for private.
But to be clear, the episode's not over yet. There's more.
No, that was the end.
No, we have to
I
do
don't know,
Where's
girl.
Matthew Lillard?
No.
It's okay. I liked it. I
This
like it. We
episode
just
ended early.
We just roll. We roll through it. You say whatever. That's the
Mhm.
secret of getting a bit done. You say
Okay.
something, and then it doesn't always make sense, but then you just keep moving and you don't draw too much attention to it.
I
That's
think
what.
Matthew Lillard could have been Jess, like an older Matthew Lillard.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see him.
I would love a Matthew Lillard, Carrie Fisher. I just feel like
Mm.
Yeah,
they would have a chemistry. Although I do like Bruno, whatever his
Yeah, I
last
love
name is.
him. Bruno
His
King, I
mustache
think.
is very sexy in this movie.
Bruno Kirby, excuse me. I've been saying his name wrong this whole episode. How embarrassing.
Matthew Lillard could be one of the other boyfriends that is
Oh yeah.
like the really hot one that she has at that one party
At the
Jess
Pictionary?
and Marie's house.
Mm.
That
Yeah,
would be a sleigh.
that would be a sleigh.
During the baby
That
talk
would work
scene, baby
very
fish
well.
mouth scene.
Baby
Mhm.
fish mouth.
Okay, are we more Maddie or are we ready for dumb bitch?
We already know who dumb bitch is. It's whoever decided
Oh my god, the location scouts for that
location
driving
scout
scene. What were
Dummies.
they thinking?
canceled.
Dummies. They're
Idiots.
both our main characters are a little bit dumb bitches, but they're
Yeah.
the best at the same time. And
Yeah.
so
I love them,
we
but my
forgive
god, are
them.
they dumb?
We
I
love that
would
about them, though.
give Harry a larger nomination than Sally for dumb
Agreed.
bitchitude. But I think he knows that about himself, and that's just one of his character traits.
Yeah, he's
Mhm.
like, I'm a little dumb bitch, and you love that.
And
you
you
love
like
me
that.
for it.
You love that about me.
Whereas like
Okay.
when they have like the low maintenance, high maintenance conversation, I think he would be like, you're also a dumb bitch, but you won't admit it and you don't know that about yourself. Meanwhile, I'm a dumb bitch and I know it.
Exactly. Same here. Okay. Then we're at our knives out of fives. Speedy,
Knives
speedy.
out of fives.
Help me. Everyone loves this in the world, please.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay, good.
on IMDb, it does not have a perfect 10 out of 10, which is crazy. It only has a 7.7 out of 10, which a little low. But rom-coms aren't for everybody, I guess. But it's got
Mhm.
better scores on Rotten Tomatoes. It actually has identical scores from critics and audiences on Rotten Tomatoes, which is 89% fresh.
Nice. And it came out in
Um,
1989.
Yeah.
Oh my God, right on
Whoa.
time.
Wow.
And
Big,
then
crazy numerology.
whoa,
I
angel
don't know what that
numbers
means.
or
I'm
something.
so sorry.
But at the 1990 awards circuit, it made the rounds. It did like a bunch of smaller stuff too, but the big boys that I put in my notes were the 1990 Academy Awards, where it was nominated for Best Writing Screenplay for The Screen, Nora Ephron. And then at the 1990 Golden Globes, it was nominated for Best Motion Picture, Comedy or Musical, Best Director, Motion Picture, Rob Reiner, Best Performance by an Actress in a Motion Picture, Comedy or Musical, Meg Ryan, Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture, Comedy or Musical, Billy Crystal, and Best Screenplay, Motion Picture, Nora Ephron. So that is 5 nominations at the Golden Globes. And did it win?
Wow.
No. But
Wrong.
it has
Wrong.
won
Wrong.
in the court of public opinion over time because I do think this is one of the most absolutely iconic, beloved rom-coms
Movies.
of all time.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And for that reason, I'm giving it 5 knives out of 5s. This perfect film. And there's nothing, I don't even have that much to say.
No,
It makes
it's
me
a
feel like
perfect
I'm
film.
in a warm embrace. I just was like, I'm laughing out loud. I get a little teary. Everybody's hot and they have nice pants. I'm going to wear this Meg Ryan outfit all the time. Like, this is a great fit. Look at this.
That is a great fit.
Gorgeous.
It slaps. I've learned so much. 5 out of 5.
Again, 5 out of 5. I want every piece of article of clothing worn in this movie. Every single one. This movie is so good. And it is, I like that everybody's hot, but not like
Sterile hot.
People hot.
This is realistic. Like,
yeah.
this could happen.
Also, I just like love a guy who like looks like Billy Crystal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love a guy who, this is gonna sound weird, but like a guy who's like whatever looking, fine. And then they have a personality that fucks so hard that you're like, they're the most beautiful person in the world. Like, I think that that's such an
Yep.
amazing thing. And you don't
I
get
like
that.
someone's personality shines in their
Shines
face.
through.
Yeah, totally. Keep going. Sorry.
No, that was it. I love this movie. It's so cozy. It is perfect for the holiday season. Like, you could watch it with literally anybody.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah, that's one of the things I think that is so wonderful about it is like to me, it is like one of the New Year's Eve movies to watch on New Year's Eve because it has 2 big New Year's Eve scenes, including the climax, the finale. But also it is so fall and winter and cozy in general that like you can really just start immediately after Halloween and watch it every single day until the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And it would be
Yeah.
a good fit and a good time. And even if you're watching it that many days in a row, you would be just loving life. I just think it is cozy, warm, comfortable, beautiful, funny, fun, silly, sexy in its own way, even if like this sexiness of it is not like overt and raunchy the way that rom-coms are today.
It's still there.
It's tantalizing is what it is. Like it's not erotic, but it
That's
is
the word.
like
Yeah.
a seduction over time. Like it's so good. It's just chef's kiss, 5 knives.
Hell yeah. Well, Spookies, Happy New Year!
Happy
Good
New
old
Year.
acquaintance. That's all I'm gonna say.
Be
Forgone. Oh man. But we've got a whole new year. A year full of horror movies coming for you in 2025, which is gonna be an adjustment to say.
I know.
But we're starting off on an exciting foot, but with a reminder that you have seasonal depression.
Yeah. Don't
Because
forget.
don't fucking forget. You're feeling happy
that
now, but
after the holidays, sometimes you get a little low.
yeah, we realize that you might have a little bit of a low after the double holiday specials that we're putting out for you. And so we are here to hold your hand with Werewolf versus Vampire Seasonal Depression event continuing. With one of our all-time most prestigious movies that we're going to be doing with this event thus far. There's a lot of like really schlocky ones that we want to do, but this one is prestige. This one is beloved. This one is one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. And
Yeah,
that
I mean,
is
I think it's a good place on the schedule because it's been kind of light on the horror a little bit
yeah.
around here lately, which,
Mhm.
I don't mind, and I think we've been having a blast and things have still been spooky in many ways, but we're really returning to form, starting the year off right.
Starting it off right with a movie that I have been trying to get us to do for so long. Not that we didn't want
She
to.
has.
It just wasn't the right time.
It wasn't
But
the right.
that is
Sometimes you need
an
to wait 12 years.
if you're going to talk every time I'm about to say and that movie is it's An American Werewolf in London. The 1981 classic. And it's rated R, so that's how you know it fucks hard. So, it's going to be amazing. I'm excited about it. And it's John Landis. Oh my God, how fun. But yeah, we're gonna get into the be all end all werewolf movie. I mean, Wolfman can't top this, but we'll have to see it in theaters in January as well. But yeah, that brings us to the end of our New Year's Eve special. So thank you for joining us. Another year of beautiful spooky things on the horizon. And why not wish us a very happy new year in a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or a 5-star rating on Spotify? We would love to see it, and it would be so nice. Also, a reminder that if you listen on Spotify, you can comment on our episodes. We got a lot of really
might also
nice.
be back, but
yeah, polls are back, but I don't want to bring them back.
We're not going back. Yeah, that's
we're not going back.
on Monday night.
We're done. We're not fucking doing that shit. I noticed that and I was like, I'm not gonna say anything. But you can comment and write us little notes there too. So that's a way to say things on Spotify because they don't let you type anywhere else. And also, why not follow us on social media? We're at spooky_Tuesday on pretty much everything except for Facebook and Tumblr, where we're at Spooky Tuesday Pod. Why not check out our website also? That's www.spookytuesdaypod.com. And it's your one-stop shop. And also, why not look at us while we're talking? Isn't that so exciting? You can do that on YouTube, where we have full video episodes every week. And today we have a beautiful matching moment from Sydney and Chelsea in their matching Spooky Tuesday pink beanies. It's so cute. It looks wonderful. And I am Meg Ryan as Sally Albright in the bookstore scene of the film. Very specific. So I'm sure you'll recognize
get it right.
Uh-huh. But yeah, at the end of the day, I have to say thank you so much for listening, and we will see you next Tuesday.
Bye, Spookies.
Spooky Tuesday was created by Monica Height, Sydney Thompson, and Chelsea Duff, and edited by Sydney Thompson. Our gorgeously spooky tunes are all thanks to Tamara Simons, who you can follow on Instagram at Great18. That's GR818_. And our podcast art is by Ryan Brom, who you can follow on Instagram at Ryan Brom Art. That's RyanBrommArt. Learn more about Spooky Tuesday at spookytuesdaypod.com and subscribe to our Patreon at patreon.com/spooky_Tuesday.